Okay, hi everyone.
Hi.
I'm Doreen. I'd like to meet the rest of you. Samia that I just met, who went from mathematics to graphic design. Farah, graphic designer as well. Rula, also graphic designer. Hassan, the architect.
Danielle. My main major is English literature, but now I'm working in marketing.
Okay, marketing, excellent.
I'm Grace, I'm a psychologist.
Oh, we've got a nice team here. Great.
Nicola, also graphic.
Okay. So, Aika, oh.
What are you doing?
Aika, are you joining us as well?
Yeah, I'm joining.
Great, so you can do the session then about empathy. You're not empathic today. Okay, so does anybody know what the word empathy means?
Yeah. It's the capacity to put ourselves in the place of the person we're facing, to either his feelings or what he could be thinking.
Okay,
Yeah.
exactly. Spoken by a professional psychologist. Excellent. Okay, so why do you think this matters to designers? Empathy. I mean, why would you think this matters in services?
Because it's the business of the other people. We're offering something to these people, so we need to understand what they actually need and what they want, so we can offer that accurately.
And why do you think designers would do this and not somebody in marketing, for example, or somebody in sales? Why do you think designers play a role in this whole service and this whole touch point?
Creating the work.
How are going to sell the product
Mm-hmm.
if they are not going to
True, yeah. I mean, you have to, but what is it about designers that is different from other fields? I mean, have you thought about this? Design thinking, the process of thinking. So how is a designer doing it different from someone else, you think?
He's creating something that doesn't exist earlier, I guess.
Sometimes services already exist.
Yeah, but he's putting a certain touch to it. Otherwise, it wouldn't be designed.
Great. So like creative, touch. These are like let's think of some more keywords about why designers can do this better than others.
Think out of the box.
Think out the?
Think out of the box.
Thinking out of the box, yeah.
And they're able to make lots of ideas together and then come up with a new experience or
Okay.
the fact that they are actually linking and brainstorming and combining things and creating something new.
Okay.
Identity.
Identify with the user? Okay.
Seeing things from a different perspective.
Mm-hmm. So creative, seeing things from different perspective, thinking out of the box. A certain kind of know-how, yes, definitely. One word that designers often use is intuition, and this is something that's very important for designers. What makes a designer do and feel with the user is based on something that's also inward, and this is why designers always say we do the research like everyone else, but we also have the specific part in us that's called intuition. So that creative part in you that's actually thinking, okay, how do I actually get these ideas out there? How do I manifest them? How do I think of them creatively? How do I feel with the user? And how do I put this empathy out there? This is how the designers may be doing it different. At least designers like to think that they're doing it a little bit different from somebody from another field. So we're going to be talking about empathy maps. Now, as we said, empathy is about feeling with the other. So this is about feeling with the user. I've prepared for all of you an empathy map that you can all have a look at. I'd like you to all to take some. And the best way to actually do this is to take it into context. So I want to hear from, so you're all in different teams, right? Or some of you are in the same team?
We're in the same team.
You're in the same team? Okay, so I want you to explain to me so far what you've been doing in your project, and we can see how this empathy map would make sense in your whole service design. So maybe we can start with you, Nicola. What are you guys working on?
Okay, it's a very vague concept. It's like repeat and mirroring and repetitive. So we're trying to come up with a box where people can share their experience, tell their stories, and record it. So we have like a certain time for my experience in this place is different from someone else. So we're still like processing this idea.
Okay, so how about we start writing some keywords here that we feel are the most important for this project. Okay, so you said sharing experiences.
Yes, to connect.
Connect.
Transfer.
Transfer?
Yes.
Transfer what?
My story to someone else.
Stories. Okay.
Creating a database of information as a resource of the story themselves.
Resource. Database. Information.
Timeline.
What's the timeline for?
This place reminds me of a visit with my grandpa. It's like it was a certain bonding moment.
So that's like a memory.
Yes, in a way.
Okay. Give me more.
Recreate the ambiance of the city, various parts of the city in various times. So this is what the timeline is about, where we get to recreate the whole feeling of the city through the perspective of the people living in that.
Like, you always have this boring info, like this city was like started in 19 I don't know what. It is boring stuff. Like we have this new person approach for things, like how people felt in this place, what did they experience. So they'll have that instead of just this boring info.
Experience. What people felt
Yes.
is what we're saying.
So in a way, our product is the consumer. They go both ways. It's not like
The
the user is the producer of the information, but at the same time the receiver as well. So it's a chain that goes on.
Okay.
It's a cycle.
User is also the
Producer of information.
producer of information. Okay. So this is all vaguely something that you're trying to work on. So from the way I understand is like there's this idea of the box, and it's some sort of artifact that is somehow connecting people together, but also connecting them with their own experiences. And there's the city. So what role does the city play in this whole thing? So is this box existing someplace in the city that people are interacting with it? Okay, all right.
I'm also thinking of actually extending it from one city to another, so it's not just one location, but actually creating a network of moving from one country to another, one city to another.
Okay.
It's something globally,
Not just the local experience.
Okay. All right, cool. Next. Who's the other?
Yeah.
No, you can tell it. It's fine.
Okay, so it's we took the educational project. So what we're trying to find is we went from an 11-year-old boy who goes to school just where it's very academic, it's very boring. So the target we have is to enhance his soft skills at school, which doesn't exist for the time being. Anything concerning communication, creativity, yeah, exactly. So to better prepare, first, to make school more interesting, working on his motivation, his drive to go to school and be happy of doing something other than just math, science, and languages. And on the other hand, also better prepare him for life later on and career orientation.
And Aika knows quite a bit about this, yeah, from her experience in her job. Enhancing the soft skills at school. So you are thinking that this box is also some form of a tool that's used in schools, right? Or outside of the school? We don't know yet?
Yeah, we're still about
so
more
the
in
bus
school.
drive
Yeah.
to school, which is 45 minutes, we identified. So there's a lot of time in there that we could maybe make something happen there. And
Okay.
we have the break, which is
So you're kind of making use of time that's wasted.
It's
waste of time.
Okay.
Bus or recession.
So we're not changing, we're not trying to completely change the whole school
System,
system,
yeah.
but we're trying to interfere where there's like moments of
Wasted moments, yeah.
Okay, so you're basically looking at these wasted times as touch points to interact with this box. Okay.
Which is actually going to influence the experience kids have for school.
Okay.
and it's non-graded activity, so you don't get grades for it.
Yeah.
And why?
Because otherwise it's again part of the school feeling for the kid. And it should be a little bit more about outside life.
No.
About how you can actually use the skills in your own, from your own perspective. So not only given it to you, but also from your own intrinsic motivation.
So so what kind of reward would the kids get to do this? If we're saying that, huh?
The pleasure of doing it.
Pleasure. Okay. So this,
Feeling proud.
Yeah. And it's,
Right.
it's actually discovering aspects in themselves that they wouldn't have discovered with the regular curriculum.
self-discovery. Okay, great. Anything else you'd like to add to that? Good? Okay, next team.
Actually, our user is John, the food producer. Mainly, we're talking about the
Food producer.
food industry in terms of packaging, user-friendly. So the food industry. So in terms of raw food packaging, processed foods, and the user-friendly, eco-friendly expansion, export as keywords we're talking.
Eco-friendly expansion. Okay, but you're already thinking very concretely about what this is. Let's talk about where this is coming from. Like, why food, for example? What is it that you're going to add to the food experience of someone with your packaging?
In terms of user-friendly packaging.
The facility of exportation. You know, he has something in between his hands, and he needs to export.
Export.
We have also the ready-to-eat stuff. Also, it's
So he's going to search for witty design in order to preserve the. For example, he has meat, he has chicken. So he's going to come up with smart design packaging in order to preserve his food.
Have you identified some form of packaging that you think is not working, or something that you would like to add? Is there something specific that you want to target and work on? You still didn't think of that?
We just gave ourselves an example. Let's say a biscuit packaging. You know, it's really deceiving for the consumer when you receive a biscuit and you want to take it out of the box and it's all like cracked, and you won't enjoy the taste even. Or, for example, there's another type of packaging of biscuits when you have the things to protect it from getting baked, and when you reach in the middle of the thing, you can't even like take it off. You have to remove, to do like this. This is kind of
Okay. So we're talking about.
the experience of the food,
I'm going to write of eating biscuits here so that we can have something concrete about it. Okay. So in your case, then you've already. So if you think of like. This is like your process. You're already thinking of the end result. This is how your project is. These people, for example, are thinking about the concept of what this is going to do. You already thought about your end result, which is absolutely fine. Now then, what you need to do is go a step back. Okay, you've already thought that this is a package, that it's about food. You don't need to decide what the food is, but maybe you need to go a step back and identify some of the things that you just said. So maybe we can talk about some things like, okay, so you said, let's put some keywords. Discomfort? No, I don't think that would be discomfort. What are some of the feelings that somebody might experience while not enjoying their packaging?
disappointment,
Okay.
discomfort,
Frustration.
yeah,
The biscuits are broken.
Frustration.
irritation also, you know.
I
in
paid
terms-
for it and I.
Yeah, especially if it's overly priced because
They first also might look forward to biscuit, and then
yeah.
when they start packaging, it's or start opening the package, it's disappointing.
There's always,
Sometimes it's empty.
they always
expect more.
Yeah.
So
because of
value.
value for also honesty in terms of packaging. When you see also talking about biscuit, it's an oat biscuit, and you read the ingredients to find it that it's oat and whole wheat biscuits, but it's not like clearly stated. Yeah.
Already in the ingredients. Okay, okay. These are definitely things we can work on with your user.
Calories.
Calories are always important.
Yeah, of course.
How about like the brand itself?
I would say also color is the brand itself, where it stands in terms of competition.
Not necessarily only. It's like, how do you identify with this brand? Aren't there some brands that you refuse? I mean, obviously, every brand in a person's mind, when you're eating it, you're identifying somehow with this. Yeah. The more you buy from this brand, the more you think that maybe this has something to do with who I am. Yeah. So like, how do you identify with the brand? And what kind of a story is that brand creating for you?
In terms of loyalty to that brand, or...
Also, maybe it could be like ethical considerations, like who is that brand, what do they do, is it basically, is it using the right kind of material, is it sustainable, I mean, what kind of plastics are they using, how are they making it?
This is the eco-friendly side of the...
Yeah, so how, for example, one thing that you could think of is how to maybe create this awareness in your user, for example. So how do you create not just the experience of eating the food, but also consciously thinking that if I'm eating from this brand, then I'm also playing a role somehow,
also
somewhere.
This is the moment of delight, doing something while also enjoying.
So maybe the word responsibility can come in there too.
Social responsibility could be...
Social responsibility.
They're connected to any, I don't know, NGO or whatever, or they have...
if you buy this product,
yeah, exactly.
you give $1 to the cancer center.
Donation. Yeah.
Okay, all right. Next.
Okay, so our theme was the city in general. We took Beirut, and we took specifically in Beirut as a user Maya. She's an AUB student.
So you've already done your user journeys?
More or less.
Okay.
We didn't finish it. Like to tell you the profile of Maya, she's in her 20s. She's studying as an architect. She lives in Sassin, Shafia, and she's heading MWF to AUB from 10 till, let's say, 6. She's a Starbucks fan every day with a coffee. With the music and then the skirt, and then like she's a hipster, and she's very friendly with the drivers or with everyone, and so here's the thing.
Okay.
So that's the thing, and we didn't discuss this yet, but the problem will be in the service, in the transportation itself. So the traffic, the service itself, the status of the car, the driver, who's in the car, and she's using the service because it's like for the part. She has a car, but she prefers to go with the public transportation because she will save money, the parking space. Sometimes she will save time. Plus, she's very cool, and she wants others to know that.
Okay.
I feel public transport.
Okay, so Maya, the cool hipster from Sistine, who goes to AUB and drinks Starbucks.
Yeah.
Okay.
iPhone, iPad, you know.
Okay, so mobile tech. Let's put that there. Okay, so how are you thinking Maya will interact with this? What is the service, for example, that this box or this artifact that you're going to create adding to her? It's the car itself. Okay. The car itself. Okay, so what can we think? Can we think of some feelings that Maya would be going through within her whole process?
First, she's never on time, so she's in a hurry.
So let's think also about feelings. Like, what are the words that you could use, for example, to describe what she's feeling? Anxious. Okay.
Sleepy. It's
sleepy, tired.
She had a very long Sunday night. It's Monday. Frustrated because of the traffic.
The music the taxi driver could have.
That's why she has this. She has this
conversation that she might have.
So she's not interested in Fairuz. She has her own music.
So her music,
So
somehow her music also dictates her experience. Yes. So she chooses through her music what she's doing. Okay. Her music and experience.
The status of the car itself, if the door cannot open or things like that. She smokes, so she has to smoke.
She has to smoke.
Yeah, and
It's
during
a need really
It's a
like,
need, you know,
yeah,
so.
Okay, all
The
right.
coffee and everything in her hand, like, you can picture this with us, right?
So you're thinking of maybe a multitude of experiences that this car would actually have for Maya that would make her experience better somehow.
Yes.
Okay.
Exactly.
All right, anything else you want to add to that? About her experience, about her journey, where is she going to, where is she coming from?
University.
Okay, we're only
It's in
taking...
the morning, yes. So we didn't
Awesome.
get to when she comes back at night. So it's a morning, Monday morning, traffic jam. She's already late.
Okay, so the service that you're doing is very specifically for this kind of persona at this time going on this journey.
Exactly.
Okay, all right. All right, let's have a look at all the empathy maps that we have here. Now, this is very self-explanatory. I would, of course, prefer that you actually go out there and talk to some users to get this information. But I think that maybe we can just take a couple of minutes for each one of you to fill one out with all the users that we talked about right now, and then we can discuss that again, okay? 2 minutes, can we do that quickly?
With all the users?
No, your own, your own.
Okay.
So who is this person? I mean, you already have Maya. You can put her there in the middle. So you can see that it's divided into a few things. One of them is hearing, one of them is seeing, one of them is doing, one of them is saying. And then we've also discussed all these feelings, so the pain and the gain. What are the good things that are happening in this experience? What are the bad things that are happening in this experience? Major worries and what makes them happy. Everything that we just discussed, try to fill it in there. So this is going to be like your little map for your users. You might have more than one at some point, but now concentrate on the one that you've already been thinking about.
What makes them happy? Coffee. Good car, more or less. Nice car. Major? Major worries, late.
A small question, like, we don't have a specific person.
You need to think of one. You cannot design a service without having a user in mind. That's the first thing. It's the first rule of the game.
Okay.
And we can think of that right now if you want. But it just helps you so much more to identify.
Yeah, of course. The thing is, well, the service is for everyone. That's
There's no such thing as a service that's for everyone. I mean, of course they are.
could be like a cab driver, it could be like someone walking by.
The whole point of dividing people into personas, even though lots of people don't like personas, you know, people don't like to be put in that stereotypical box. And personas are not supposed to be stereotypes. They're supposed to be some form of archetypes. But if you can identify who these people are, then you can identify what their issues are, then you can identify how you can fix them. If you're going to design, you know, in this cloud of everybody, you're not going to be able to design it perfectly. You're doing one, the two of you together? Well, you weren't supposed to, but okay. You were each supposed to do one so that you get to learn and share from each other how you see things differently from your perspective, but it's okay. Okay, stop. All right, so let's discuss. Who found any difficulties doing this? This was really easy, right? Yeah, okay.
I just have this issue
Because you didn't think of your user and your personas yet. Okay, we can discuss yours a little bit more thoroughly than others. But I'd like to see, like, for example, you two. How? Let's share the information. So, what did you put where? How do you feel yours is different from hers? Aika.
Yeah, sure.
Okay, so tell us about your user. So this is the 11-year-old boy, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so what is he hearing? What is he doing?
He's hearing that he has to do his learning and is it prestation? It's not prestation. Yeah, the prestation is very important, and that he has to listen, and that he has to be a grown-up very early.
Okay, so do you have the same idea?
Actually, what I put it is its obligation to go to school, and the other one that he gets the idea that not having good grades means he's not intelligent and he's going to fail later on in life. And actually it has nothing to do...
Okay, so this is what he's hearing.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. because it's the feedback he's having because he's being bored and not motivated at school.
Okay. What is he doing?
What is he doing? He is following the system, going to school, living with his family, and he's like really in the structure of doing things. There's not much freedom for him.
Okay. Well, I saw him more like feeling bored, nagging about school experience, and wasting time.
Okay. They all work together fine. See, this is like the whole point where you get to see, your user from different perspectives, and now you have to actually write it down. Okay?
Major worries, parents' reaction to grades, failure, tough teacher, dealing with a tough teacher or a director, which is the system we talked about.
Like don't reach full potential and don't discover your own skills.
Okay.
As for what makes them happy, it's games, activities, doing something without being graded.
Yeah, play, discover, creativity.
Okay.
Okay. Saying about the person's attitude, I mean, behavioral issues and attention, being an attention seeker.
I have similar. I also put that he's playful because he's a kid.
Okay, seeing what this person sees around him is negative experience, the negative side of schooling, concrete asphalt classroom.
Okay.
Yeah.
What was yours?
Similar.
Okay.
He sees his family house. He sees the school bus, the traffic, the city around him. The school classes, the people around him.
Okay. Pain and gain?
Okay, the pain is to fail, as everyone says, and having to deal with a daily unmotivated experience.
Okay.
He's not. There's no challenges. He kills his curiosity, and he's only doing boring stuff.
Okay. As for the gain, opportunity to develop one's own skills, discover who he really is, and skills not related to academic materials.
Okay. So now that the two of you have decided on this, your next step would be the how. How can you design a service for this person specifically? Because it's obvious that you know exactly your user now. Okay, since we don't have that much time, we've got to hurry up. What did you guys write? Share with us.
So who is this person? He's a food consumer / also producer. So he's transferring his usability of the packages to an overall audience also.
Mm-hmm. It always helps a lot more to identify with your user more as a human. So instead of just thinking of him as a food producer, as like a very typical thing, maybe give it a name, think of an age.
A 40-year-old man who runs a family-owned farm, let's say.
Okay.
What does this person spend their time doing? He works in the food industry. He runs a family-owned farm. He produces raw and processed foods, and
now he's still thinking about smart packaging for exportation. So he needs to expand. So
Okay.
to make his products to be.
But you see, you're taking this from his perspective when it might help you a lot to think of his user's perspective. So who is actually going to be the consumer and not the person that's just, delivering the product? I think maybe in your case, if you want one of you can be the person who's producing and the other person could do one for someone who's actually consuming. And therefore you could try to identify what are the needs that the consumer has, which would probably make your service, because at the end of the day, your service is also towards the consumer, not just the person. Yes, yeah, in that sense, yes. Go on.
okay. What is the person attitude in public? He's friendly, curious, honest.
Ambitious and confident.
Okay.
I combined actually major worries with pain. So what are the fears and frustrations? It's disappointment, value for money, deception, trustworthiness.
These are his feelings himself?
Yeah, or let's say the consumer, if we were to.
We need to identify that. We need to make a very clear barrier between who your consumer is, and because obviously your consumer does not have the same feelings as the person who's making the product. So you need to clearly define these two things and not put them in the same empathy map. Okay?
So the consumer is waiting for the self-satisfaction.
Yes.
Likes to be happy. He improved.
Once you can identify different user groups and you can identify different personas, if you like, different categories of consumers, then you can much more easily identify how you would brand this packaging and how you would create it in such a way that would be good for their needs. Okay, your user.
Yes, so who is she? She's Maya. And what does she hear about the public transportation? First, her parents, like the requirement was from the parents that by night she uses her car, because from the media and then the entire society saying that the raping and stealing are more and more.
Okay, so this is a new thing that we didn't discuss before. Okay.
So the her security is in say. What does she do? She's a student, so reading, socializing, book club, and group study. Major worries to be late and to miss deadlines, and the architecture kit. So she has lots of things to carry on with. And
is there also a worry for her safety as well?
She doesn't care.
She doesn't care.
No,
okay.
It's just her parents.
Okay.
What makes them happy? It's the coffee, the music she hears, the friends and socializing. What is she saying? Sometimes it depends on her mood. She's either quiet and likes to talk to the driver in general, or she's
just listening.
Yeah, just listening. And what does she see? The traffic. It depends the driver personality. Also the weather. So this is a variable, and then the status of the car. And the pain is the stress. And maybe the bad driving starts the accident, but not the raping or the stealing itself. And the gain is just to go from point A to point B on time.
Okay. So you've identified quite a few things, but your service obviously kind of has to be directed towards something. So if this thing doesn't matter to her, you have to figure out a way. Do I directly show this issue, for example, or I don't? These are things to think about. Last screen.
So I was trying to see things from the perspective of an anthropologist, trying to analyze the city through the stories that regular people tell.
Okay.
And what the person hears from the media is basically manufactured info that is very polished about touristic sites, which don't satisfy the studies that he does. And what this person does regularly is collecting info, trying to analyze behavior of societies, documenting, improving, projecting the behavior into the future, and predicting progress.
Okay.
Major worry is not having access and manipulated information that he receives. That's not. What are their fears? Not having access, conflict, and discord.
Not having access
to the information that they need to actually analyze and create their studies. What makes them happy is connection and access to the information. What this person sees around them is human interaction, customs, relationships, cultural artifacts, history, and totems. And what is this person's attitude in public? Very social, open-minded, pragmatic.
An anthropologist that's very social and open-minded.
Yeah, but because they have to.
I haven't heard that one before.
They have to be very, very interactive with people, so that because they need to. Yeah, so which is why I assume that they're very social and very interactive and open-minded and sympathetic. And
of course, it would help a lot more if you had a real anthropologist to talk to and see how sociable he is.
I do have an anthropologist friend actually, which is why I just
It's very interesting. I mean, your user is very interesting. I mean, it's definitely someone that you're saying is already quite insightful in the city. Somebody that's already looking for these things. And I think that helps your service a lot because you're not depending on the regular, person who's anyway driving around not caring about it. And maybe at some point, this user of yours, you could think of it in terms of as a mediator. So maybe sometimes you could have a person that encourages other people to use this service, and maybe you can think of that. So this is like an add-on to your service as well. Yeah? Okay, I think we're done for the session. Thank you. Thank you.